Nothing Else Matters Part 2. Trigger warning, eating disorders, mention of drugs, negative body image, throwing up. It is the 4th night of the road trip and you're finally ready to show your body to Eddie. You put on a beautiful lingerie set that you bought before the road trip, just in case you would have your first time during the trip. You've been scared to show your body to Eddie because you find yourself too fat and you were afraid he wouldn't like your body. Tonight, you are confident and you decided to use this confidence to show yourself the most vulnerable ever in front of your boyfriend. You trust him. You know he'll be caring and understanding. During this road trip, you've opened up to him more than you've opened up to anyone else in your entire life. While Eddie is smoking his joint, you put on the red lingerie set. You look at yourself, feeling very self-conscious, but Eddie enters the van before you can have any second thoughts. You can hear him gasp, and it takes everything in you not to cry. Eddie puts his hands around your body from behind and whispers in your ear. "You look perfect in those underwear, sweetheart," he says, while caressing your waist. You turn to face him and kiss him on the lips. His lips part open so you can slide your tongue, and you start a very long and heated make-out session. You put your hands in Eddie's hair while he puts his on your waist, holding onto you. After some long minutes, you painfully tear apart, panting from the kiss before you look at Eddie, taking a deep breath. "I'm ready," you say. "You sure? I don't want to pressure you," Eddie says. "I'm sure. I want to be yours," you say. Eddie grins. He can't contain his excitement. "Good. Amazing." He stops himself before saying, "We can go as slow as you want, baby. Just say the word and we stop." Eddie and you do what you have to do. You both lay down on the bed, panting and trying to recover from your previous activity. You lay your head on Eddie's chest while he plays with your hair. He knows you love it. After an hour of laying down, you both go take a shower together and wash one another. You then put on some pajama and both go to bed. Hawkins, Indiana, 2 weeks later. It is a Friday night, and as each Friday night you are at the D&D campaign. This time you don't play. You just watch, sat on Eddie's laps, when you suddenly feel nauseous. You jump from Eddie's lap and run to the girls' bathroom. You kneel in front of the toilet and start throwing up. You can hear footsteps in the bathroom before hearing Eddie's soft voice. "Is everything okay, Angel?" he asks. You manage answering, "Mm-hmm," before throwing up again. "Baby, open the door for me, please," he asks with a pleading tone. You throw up again. "I'm just sick," you say, trying to reassure Eddie. "Please, baby, open the door," he pleads once again. "I don't want you to," you throw up again. "See me like this." After several minutes of emptying your stomach, you get out of the bathroom. Eddie rushes toward the towel and starts cleaning your face. "Thank you," you say. "Do you want me to bring you back home, sweetheart?" Eddie asks, concerned. "First of all, I was supposed, and I am going to spend the night at yours. Second of all, I'm not gonna make you leave in the middle of this campaign. I know how important it is for you," you say. "Nothing's more important than my sweetheart. Nothing else matters, remember?" he answers. "I don't want to cut your campaign short. Let's just go back," you say. Eddie is afraid that starting to eat more affects your body, that it makes you sick. He is afraid he is totally messing the situation up, worsening it. While you walk back to the Hellfire room, you ask, "What's on your mind?" Eddie doesn't answer, deep in thoughts. "Eddie?" you ask, concerned, while touching his arm. "Oh, sorry, I was lost in thoughts," he says. "I can tell. What's bothering you, baby?" you say as you come into the Hellfire room. Eddie doesn't answer. Instead, he sits back on his throne and motions for you to sit on his laps. Once the game is over, you help Eddie cleaning up. You're nauseous again, so you leave the room, running again. You can hear Eddie's footsteps behind you. You arrive to the girls' bathrooms, are about to close the door, when Eddie blocks the door before you can close it. You kneel in front of the toilet and start throwing up again. Eddie takes your hair off of your face and rubs your back. Once you've emptied your stomach again, you both head to Eddie's van. "Are you sure you don't want to sleep in your own bed tonight?" "What happened to the sentence you told me 3 weeks ago?" you say playfully. "Which one?" Eddie asks, confused. "Don't worry, sweetheart. My bed is your bed." You try to imitate Eddie's voice. He laughs at that. "That's still true, but you know what I mean," he says. "I really want to spend tonight with you," you answer reassuringly. Eddie parks in front of his trailer. He opens the door and both of you rush to the bedroom. You take your clothes off and sleep on one of Eddie's old t-shirts. You both lay down and you break the silence. "What was bothering you earlier?" you ask Eddie. It's just that I'm worried, Eddie answers. About what, my love? You ask, concerned. About you. Did I push you too much with food? Is that why you throw up? He asks. No, I don't think it's that, you answer, anxious. Then what is it? I can tell you're anxious, Eddie asks, even more concerned. You look even more anxious and don't dare to look at Eddie in the eyes. My periods are late. Eddie caresses your back as you start sobbing. It takes time for him to realize what it means. Once he realizes, he speaks. Hey, it's okay. We will figure it out. Together. And whatever the outcome is, whatever your decision towards the potential outcome, I'll be there. You're my priority. Nothing else matters. Eddie takes you in a hug and you sob in his chest. After 5 agonizing minutes for him, you lift your head up. I think we might start by a pregnancy test, you say. I'll go buy it tomorrow. Don't worry about anything. I'm here. I'll be here. Forever. Forever, you repeat, still sobbing in Eddie's chest. You both lay back down and you fall asleep in Eddie's loving embrace. The next morning, you wake up to an empty spot next to you. You start worrying until you see the note on the bedside table. It says, "When to go grab the pregnancy test. Don't worry about me. You can have breakfast if you want. Eddie." And he drew a heart on the bottom of the note. You go to the living room and wait for Eddie on the couch. He arrives around 30 minutes later with a rose in his hand. He hands it out to you. "For you, my lady," he says. You smile at the gesture and thank him with a kiss on the lips. He then hands you the bag from the pharmacy. You go to the bathroom and do the test. You get out of the bathroom and say in a shaky voice, "We just have to wait now." Eddie grabs your hand and intertwines his fingers with yours. After 15 agonizing minutes, you help Eddie up and go to the bathroom to look at the test. You take a shaky breath and do not let go of Eddie's hand. You look at the test and there are 2 lines. Eddie looks at you before saying, "Does this mean—" You finish for him. "It means I'm pregnant." "What do you want to do, sweetheart?" Eddie asks. "I don't know yet. But I'm not the only one involved, so I won't take a decision that you might regret," you say. "It is your call to make, sweetheart. You'll be the one carrying the baby for 9 months. No matter what is your choice, I'll be here, right by your side." Right after he answered, you kiss him on the lips. "We should take an appointment to the doctor to confirm the test, though." You go to get up when Eddie stops you. "I'm going. You stay here. You need to rest," he says, failing to hide the panic in his voice. "I'm pregnant, Eddie, not sick. I'll come with you," you say. "I just don't want you to feel exhausted. I really don't know anything about pregnancy. I don't know what I have to do to help you," he says, anxious. You take his hand before saying, "We'll figure it all out. Together." You go to Eddie's van, who opens and closes the door for you before heading to the driver's seat. He then starts to drive towards the hospital. You enter the building and you both head to the secretariat. The secretary asks you what brought you here. Eddie answers before you even have the time to process her question. "My girlfriend took a pregnancy test this morning and it was positive. We want to see a doctor," he says in one breath. You caress his hand with your thumb in order to calm him, and it seems to work. "A doctor can see you in 20 minutes if that's fine by you," the secretary answers. "Sure," you answer before going to sit down in the waiting room. Eddie is anxious. You can tell even though he tries to hide it. He is pacing around the waiting room. After 5 minutes of him pacing, you gesture for him to sit down, which he does, and you take his hand in yours. After 15 more minutes, the doctor calls your name. You go to the doctor's office and he examines you before doing ultrasound. He shows you and Eddie the soon-to-be baby. You can see tears in Eddie's eyes at the sight of this future baby, and at that moment, you've made up your mind. You're gonna keep it. You both get out of the appointment hand in hand. You look at Eddie before saying, "I'm gonna keep the baby." He looks at you with hopeful eyes before asking, "Are you sure?" "I'm sure. I want to do this with you," you say. He smiles and then kisses your forehead and opens the passenger door for you. You go back to Eddie's trailer before realizing, "We need to rent our own place, but we can't afford it. I have some spare money from my non-legal selling," he said before adding, "but I'll quit this and find a job." "I'll find a job too," you say. "Not until you've gave birth," he warns. "But we need the money," you protest. "I'll provide it for the both of us, sweetheart." "But," he cuts you off. "No buts. I'll provide for the both of us," he says. You both head back to the trailer. You've been nauseous the whole month. When you announced your pregnancy to your parents a few days ago, they kicked you out. You now live at Eddie's trailer. At the moment, you're doing some chores, while Eddie is doing what is supposed to be his last selling ever. When Eddie comes home, he wraps his hands around your waist and kisses your neck before saying, "Stop doing chores, you need to rest, plus you're a guest here." "Not a guest anymore, I'm literally invading your space," you say. "Wayne and I both love having you around. And not because you do chores, because we love you in a different way, of course," Eddie says. You jiggle at his dramatic tone toward the end of the sentence. You then go to Eddie's bedroom to put on a jean as the two of you decided to go out to the mall this afternoon. You go to put your jean on when you realize that it doesn't fit you anymore. You look at yourself in the mirror and see you gained weight. You knew this was going to happen, but you weren't prepared. Plus, you've not fully recovered from your eating disorders. You sit on Eddie's bed and quietly sob. After 5 good minutes, Eddie knocks on the door before coming in. He kneels in front of you and takes your hands in his so he can see your face. "What's wrong, baby?" "I'm fat," you say, in between sobs. Eddie looks at the jean on the ground and then at you. "You're not, sweetheart. You're pregnant. Your body is changing so our baby can grow up and be all healthy. I know. Well, I don't know, but I can guess that seeing your body change might be hard, but I'll always love you, even with curves. You're the most beautiful girl to me. Besides, I'll be by your side every step of the way, remember?" You nod at his words. Eddie goes through his dressing and tosses sweatpants at you. "You can wear this, and at the mall we'll buy new clothes for you, okay?" You nod, still unable to speak. You put the sweatpants on and one of Eddie's Metallica t-shirts. You then leave to the mall. You first go get your new clothes, and seeing the size of your trousers change is really hard for you. But Eddie does everything to cheer you up. He even bought you a little teddy bear saying "I love you." Being a future dad really made him cheesy. You then head to the baby clothes section of the store. You look at all the pajamas and then at Eddie and say, "How can I know which size to buy while the baby still isn't here?" "I think we can buy the smallest size. I'd really like to buy one today," he says. You nod and smile at him. You pick out a plain black onesie and show it to Eddie. "This is perfect for my future little metalhead," he says. "I hope they'll have your big brown eyes," you say, smiling. You both go to pay for the new clothes and head back to the trailer. During the whole pregnancy, Eddie took care of you. He was there at every breakdown, every moment of doubt, even though he was scared too. He was caring, maybe too caring, and here for you as he promised. You are at your 9th month. It is the middle of the night when you feel contractions. Your water breaks. You wake Eddie up in panic. It takes some time for him to fully understand the situation, but once he has, he carries you to the van, takes the bags and head to the hospital. You gave birth to a beautiful son at 5 a.m. You and Eddie decided to name him Oz after the lead singer of Black Sabbath. You and Eddie have now a beautiful apartment and a beautiful son, and even though both of you don't have a lot of money, you really love your new life with Eddie and Oz. Don't hesitate to follow my YouTube channel for more Eddie X listener stories. Those are literally me reading my written fanfictions, and you can find them in the description box if you prefer reading it.